Hi guys, welcome to another beer review, and this is the first beer from the Mikkeller beer mail that I received. And I thought I'd start off with something a little bit easy, see how Mikkeller do with a Pilsner style beer. And in the box that I got, was it two Pilsners? So yeah, I'm happy to see what these guys are all about in that department. Mikkeller, of course, a brewery who need no introduction. That being said, the only other Mikkeller beer that I've had has been the Crunchy Frog collaboration, which was a brown ale by the name of If We Didn't Take the Bones Out, It Wouldn't Be Crunchy, which is, of course, a Monty Python reference. That was a really good beer, even though I'm not that big of a fan of American brown ales. So, yeah, today we're looking at a bottle of, and I apologise about my terrible pronunciation, Skrub af Bajer, which I think translates to either piss off beer or fuck off beer. So, yeah, a beautiful name and absolutely gorgeous Keith Shaw artwork on this one. Not exactly sure what the story is behind the label, but it definitely stands out, and that's one thing that I've always enjoyed about Mikkeller is the artwork and the marketing and the basically just the whole image. If you've never tried one of their beers, you will have at least seen some of the imagery associated with them, and Keith Shaw has definitely created or helped create a really wonderful brand identity. So this, as I said, is a Pilsner style beer, clocking in at 5% ABV. Not too sure what hops and malts have been used, but this was brewed at De Prof over in Belgium. Is that? I always forget. Yeah, product of Belgium, 5% ABV, Mikkeller, beautiful looking stuff. And you guys know that I'm a big fan of Pilsners and Lagers. Rest for date on this one is 27th of the 12th, 2018. Not exactly too sure how fresh this one is, but that's quite a shelf life regardless. So using my beer Varna glass for this one. Now hopefully they haven't hopped this to high heaven. Um, I won't go on about that because I tend to always do that when I try these craft pilsners and Helles beers. Um, I mean, I can smell a nice hop presence already. Um, if if you're just naming it like a pilsner or a Helles beer or a lager, but then you abuse it with hops, at least have like hoppy somewhere in the title or something like that. Because at the end of the day, you're just making a more crisp pale ale most of the time with some of these beers. But yeah, anyway. Colour then, that is a lovely sort of a slightly hazy amber orangey colour when you hold it up to the light. It has got some slight golden hues in there. Definitely has that sort of like slight pilsner look to it, but it has got more of like that sort of sunset look to it. And being poured with just over a finger's worth of white fluffy head, quite compact, seems to be hanging around a bit. So yeah, let's see what we get on the aroma. And I get a big hit of hops actually, like American hops. Maybe there's a bit of like a Cascade or Citra, or maybe like a Mosaic in this one. It's got that slight tropical aroma to it. Not really too resiny or anything like that. Or pine. Well, maybe there is a slight hint of pine in this. But yeah, you get that like grapefruit character. Maybe a bit of like a melon. It's like mango as well. And then something along the lines of like a pear or an apple, maybe. But yeah, it smells good. You do sort of get that like lager malty character. Like there's this really nice crisp, almost biscuity cracker-like malt character coming through. But it is more predominantly about those hops. So we'll see how well they come out in the flavour. Cheers, guys. Well, I don't know what the IBUs are on this beer, but that is probably one of the most bitter pilsners that I've had, to be fair. Does it say on the bottle itself? I don't think so. The writing is a little bit small. No, it doesn't really seem to say, but yeah, real big bitterness on the back end on this one. And it is what you'd expect from like a good craft brewed hoppy lager. The hoppiness is there, don't get me wrong. It's more of like a big hint of citra, maybe. That being said, you do get that like crisp body that you'd get from a lager. There is that sort of like musky, crispy, malty sort of flavour coming through as well. Especially now, after that first big hit of those hops, that second flavour, because your palate's had a big hit, um, I could see now why they say piss off beer and fuck off beer. Once you've had that big initial hit and you take another sip, the hops sort of like go to the side a bit and let that drinkability that you get from a pils or a lager come through. Nice carbonation as well. A little bit prickly on the tongue, maybe a little bit of a peppery note as well. But yeah, I'm still getting that bitterness lingering on the back end, which I've never really had with a Pilsner before. So we'll pour it all in and see how the beer changes. I'd be interested actually to look up how many IBUs this has got. Maybe I should have done that before doing the video, but sometimes I like to go in blind. Sometimes I like to do a little bit of research. Beer in a glass, nothing's really changed, but there are actually little bits of particulates floating around in there. It might be a slight bit more hazy, but it's not completely different aside from those little bits and bobs in the bottom. Yeah, the more you drink it, the more it's evident that it is actually a Pilsner first and foremost. And I like that. I really do. This could have just been a light-bodied pale ale, like some craft lagers and Pilsners tend to be. But no, this still has that Pilsner like quality to it, that Pilsner like drinkability, that crispness, that freshness, that zinginess. But it's just helped along a little bit by hops. And especially, I can't stress how big of a hit that was, that first sip. I've never experienced that with a Pilsner, whether it be a traditionally brewed one or a craft one. And it does end a little bit dry. There might actually be a bit of hot burn now down the throat, but aside from that, really no complaints whatsoever. As a Pilsner itself, it's very solidly brewed. Lovely hoppy flavours coming out on the burp there. And yeah, it's a really nice balance between a hoppy beer and a traditional style. And although it's got elements that are a little bit of a surprise and take the style to a completely different area, it's got that sense of familiarity and that sense of like tradition to it, even if it could be, you know, like a middle finger to this sort of beer. Even though Mikkeller have brewed quite a few pilsners and lagers from what I've seen, and to, you know, somewhat high regard. So yeah, I'd like to know the story of this beer, if indeed there is one. And yeah, in terms of a rating then on this beer, we're off to a good start with this little box of beers that I got. I'm going to give that one a very solid 8 out of 10. Minor complaints are that hoppy bitterness is a little bit too harsh in terms of the context of the style. But yeah, they've cracked it. They've got a Pilsner first and foremost, and that, to me personally, different people have different uh, viewpoints on this. As someone who likes traditionally brewed pilsners, whether it be a German or a Czech, um, this has that like little bit of an experimental edge to it, which I sort of appreciate more than just another overly hopped and somewhat lackluster craft lager or pilsner. So yeah, if you've tried this one, as always, let me know your thoughts and opinions down below. All of the relevant links to the Rate Beer, Untapped and Beer Advocate, even though two of those websites are full of shit 99% of the time, but I like to include that information for people who do like those websites. Check out Mikkeller, of course. If you want a 25% discount, there is a link. I've got a referral link down below, which if you want to check out. And over the course of these next few videos, if you're somewhat new to Mikkeller yourself, or you want something a little bit different, like a box of beer, then definitely get yourself that 25% off. And yeah, I'm going to put my Mikkeller playlist down below, even though this is only the second beer. Of course, going to put my Pilsner playlist, so you can check those out. If any of my esteemed colleagues here on YouTube have reviewed this one, and then of course the reviews are included. And yeah, look out over the next couple of weeks for more Mikkeller beer reviews. So, thank you guys for watching, and I shall hopefully see you all later. Cheers.